Namo, quelling disasters, lending life, medicine master, Buddha. 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 Medicine master does come one, medicine master does come one, medicine master does come one, medicine master does come one. Okay, hello everyone. Let me see who is online. We have in alphabetical order. We have Eileen. We have okay. I'm going to apologize in advance because I'm definitely going to mispronounce some names. We have Anle. We have someone called Asus, Choi Chi, Guat Lee, Chui, Clifford, Felicia, Gwen, Hilda, Jane, Julie, Catherine, Miss Leong, Wai Shin, Melinda, Nguyen, Peggy, Ron from San Jose. We have Lucy from Singapore. We have Tammy and probably Karen. Tam and Karen, and then we have Tammy, Van, V Ming Lim, Yap, Yun Lai Chun, and Carrie. Hi everyone, welcome. Today we will go to the eight vow. And before I continue with the Medicine Master Sutra, I know I'm probably going to get silence, but I'm going to ask, does anyone have any questions from regarding the previous classes? Guat Li, do you have something to ask or share? No? Okay, I see your microphone is unmuted. I thought you had something to say.
Sorry, Pastor. Because Pastor saidว่าผมไม่เกี่ยวอ่ะเจ้าว่า unmute ไหม I don't unmute มา
Okay, well, now that you are oh, where did my screen go? Huh. Okay, well, since you are unmuted, Guat Li, Lu Minga Atong, do you have anything to say?
Nothing, Pastor, but I don't know why I unmute. in IT. I'm now trying to finish.
Okay, it's all right. It's okay. I can mute you. Yeah. Okay. Just give me a second. I'm having an issue with my computer screen, and I don't know if you all are seeing the same thing. How is my share screen? Is it flickering? Or is it how you say, just very smooth? It's okay.
Yep. Stable.
Okay. Well, just give me a moment. Okay, I'm going to stop share. Okay, unplug my screen and then see what happens. Okay, plug it back in. Okay, share my screen again. It looks much better now. It doesn't give me a headache looking at it anymore. Oh. Okay, much better. All right. Okay, so yesterday I have today is Saturday. Every Friday I do a class called What Would Guan Yin Do? And it's based on the Pumen Pin or chapter 25 of the Lotus Sutra. So one of the organizers gave me an idea. One of the organizers gave me an idea, which is because I have a session with the youth, with young children, not young children, with young adults, and I use PowerPoint slides because it was helpful in presenting the ideas. So she proposed that I can use PowerPoint slides too, because sometimes I have a tendency to ramble on and my points may be disjointed. So that's what I'm going to try today. Let me end this thing here. How do I end? Okay, and let me share this other PowerPoint. There you go. Okay, so we'll try it today, and then towards the end of today's class, I can ask people for their feedback to see if having this is helpful at all. Okay. All right, so I'm going to put my palms together and recite the 8th great vow from the sutra. The 8th great vow: I vow that in a future life, when I attain Bodhi, if there are women who give rise to a deep loathing for their female body and wish to renounce it because they are oppressed and disturbed by the myriad sufferings of being female, upon hearing my name, they will be able to turn from women into men who are replete with male features and ultimately realize unsurpassed Bodhi. Okay, so as a monk, in the beginning, these are the kind of things that make me really afraid. Whenever the sutra mentions about women who are unhappy and they prefer to be men, I never really knew how to explain in a convincing manner. Okay, let me pull that out of the way. So I always would kind of panic. Yeah, but I realized that, this vow actually reflects on the man. Men should be ashamed when we see this vow, because if you look at the part, let me see if I can highlight. Oppress. Oh no, it doesn't get highlighted. Okay, I'm trying to in the third sentence towards the end, because they are oppressed. Who oppresses women? Men. Men oppresses women. I think sometimes women oppress women too, just like how men also oppress men. But men are basically the culprit. So I think this vow for men, I'm not sure about women, but for men, when they read this vow, they really have to examine how they treat women. Yeah, so that's the it's, yeah. Oh, okay. And then however, there is truth in that women generally have a harder time than men. For example, women have to how you say, people get born because of women. So there is pregnancy, and then that alone is I imagine not an easy thing to do for so long. And then there's childbirth, and within childbirth itself there's a lot of dangers involved. Although just like the Buddha's mother, Queen Maya, although there was slightly different circumstances, but she passed away after giving birth to the Buddha. Yeah. And pregnancy also takes a really heavy toll on the female body. In the Sutra on being filial to parents, or recognizing and repaying the kindness of parents, it starts with the Buddha and all the monks walking down a road, and then the Buddha saw a pile of bones and he bowed to the pile of bones. And so this really intrigued the monks. It's like, oh, why would the Buddha bow to a pile of bones? I mean, it doesn't have to be the Buddha, it can be anyone bowing, and then people would be interested. So they asked the Buddha, and the Buddha said these bones could have been first the Buddha outlined the difference between bones. He says that bones that are white would belong to a man, and bones that are black belong to women who have given child, because like I said, the carrying a child leaches out a lot of nutrients to the extent that even the bones after death will turn black. So the Buddha said that throughout countless lifetimes, these bones would have belonged to someone who had been my mother. So he actually bowed down to the bones. And also, I think the principle here is not so much one of gender, but one of feeling oppressed. If you are a human, no one likes to be controlled. No one likes to be told what they can or cannot do. So therefore, oppressed. Yeah. Does anyone have any thoughts or things they would like to share about this vow number 8? Hello, anyone? I'm sure some of you have thought about this vow, right? No? One day someone will reply. Okay. Okay, before we go on to... Yes, Sue from KL. No, that was a mistake. You unmuted your mic. You want to say something? No? Okay. So before we go to the 9th vow, I thought it would be interesting because the last 2 vows that we did, the 6th and 7th vow, were all about suffering. Okay, what is suffering? How do I forward? Okay, suffering is also known as dukkha. If you look up in the Sanskrit version of suffering, it is spelled as D-U-K-K-H-A. Okay, Carrie says that in other parts of the world, gender inequality is higher than other countries. Yeah, that's true. So coming back to suffering, suffering is also the first noble truth. And why are we kind of like moving backwards to do suffering? Because suffering, the suffering of living beings, you could say, is the main motivation of Medicine Master Buddha. He has made all his great vows based upon all the suffering and afflictions of living beings that that he has observed. So suffering is kind of like his motivation. Is what impels him to get up in the morning on time, not being lazy, and to do the work that he has to do, because of all the living beings out there who haven't gone beyond affliction yet. Okay, so suffering. Sufferings, you have the traditional 8 descriptions of suffering. What are they? Okay, on your screen you have birth. Shufu says that being born is actually a very traumatic and painful process for the baby. I'm sure for the mom as well. And then aging, and then illness, death, and then you have association with the unbeloved. These are people or circumstances you don't like, but you're forced to be around them or around those conditions, and you cannot run away. You have no escape. So association with the unbeloved. And then conversely is separation from loved ones or things that you want. You are not allowed to be near them or your stuff. And then number 7 is a bit similar, not obtaining what you want. You know, you have envy or jealousy, or what's the other word for it? Covetousness, where you want, not obtaining what you want. And then the number 8 is a bit tricky. Number 8 is called the 5 clinging aggregates, or the skandhas. What are the skandhas? The skandhas are form, feeling, form, feeling, perception, formations, and consciousness. Basically, the 5 skandhas is how we perceive our reality. So form refers to everything that has I just lost that word. Form is material stuff, things that have that are outside of us, including our body. Yeah, that's form. And the Sanskrit word for that is rupa. Any Malaysian or Singaporean here will instantly recognize the word rupa, because in Malay, rupa means form. Okay, and then the remaining 4, which is feeling, perception, formation, and consciousness, refers to processes of the mind. From the actual thinking that you're using right now, listening to me, that thinking going on, right down to the automated processes such as breathing, such as the ability to digest your food. Those are all considered as part of the 5 skandhas. And the only way you can see that the skandhas are actually suffering, the best way is from the viewpoint of a very quiet place when you meditate. When you meditate for a long time, excuse me, when you meditate for a long time and your mind gets really, really quiet, and you find the joy and bliss that comes from crossing, beyond your senses, then when your senses start to reappear, I'm not saying it right, when you start getting sensory input and you see yourself attaching to the sensory input, you find that there's a lot of suffering. Yeah, it has to be experienced to be fully appreciated. But I have this experience that I can share, not a transcendental experience of meditation, but a very regular one, which I also shared yesterday. I also talked about suffering yesterday, so I made a lot of people suffer. Okay, my cousin side, my father's side of the family are quite different from my father, because my father, when he was young, he went to the city, whereas his brothers and sisters, they stayed back in the maybe a village. I would call it a village because there's just one street of the village, and they grew up there. And I have a lot of cousins on my father's side, and that meant a lot of weddings to attend. And at a lot of the weddings over there, it's very typical to play music really, really loud. So loud to the extent that you would think that the speakers would be damaged because the sound gets distorted. It's almost as if the amplifier and the speakers were not matched properly, and in trying to make things as loud as they can, the sound gets distorted. And I look around, it hurts my ears. It literally is painful, but everyone's having a good time. They're singing karaoke, they're talking really loudly because you can't hear yourself over the music, but no one seems to be bothered by the loud music. So kind of like that, kind of like when you have a sensory input that's just too much, and you realize it, and then you see how that clinging to the senses can actually it's actually suffering. Yeah, it's really uncomfortable. It gives you affliction, and all you want to do is just get away. Okay, let me see my notes. Okay, what else about suffering? Okay, suffering is part of what is known as the three marks of existence, or Trilaksana. Those of you with good memories will remember that I covered this in the previous class. Okay, what is Trilaksana, or the three marks of existence? It means that all conditioned phenomena in samsara, which is where we are, samsaric existence, shares three characteristics. The first of which is impermanence. That means nothing stays the same. The second one is suffering, which is what we're talking about right now. And the third one is non-self. Non-self means that if you were to okay, I'll give an example from the Shurangama Sutra. In the Shurangama Sutra, Ananda went for alms round on his own, and he got into trouble. He met a girl from the Matangi clan who instantly fell in love with Ananda. Why? Because for 500 past lifetimes they were husband and wife. So the karmic seeds were so strong that when she saw him, instantly she fell in love, and she told the mother that she had to have Ananda as a husband, and if not, she will kill herself. So the mother had no choice. So the mother used a mantra, a spell, to put Ananda under the spell so that the daughter could have Ananda. So the Buddha knew what was going on, sent Manjushri Bodhisattva to go save Ananda. So Manjushri Bodhisattva brought Ananda back with that girl. And then the Buddha started questioning the girl, like, what do you like about Ananda? And then she said, oh, he's so handsome. And what do you like about him? He said, oh, his eyes. Then the Buddha said, oh, if I take out his eyes and I give it to you, would you want that? And they went through this question where the Buddha was trying to explain to her that what she saw as Ananda was just a compound thing made of different elements, that if you break them down, you can't find an Ananda in it anywhere. And the Buddha was really good, because at the end of this whole dialogue that the Buddha was having, she became a third stage arhat, whereas Ananda was only a Sotapanna, stream enterer, or first stage arhat. Yeah. So non-self. So as a if you want to contemplate non-self, it can be really, really powerful. So going back to number one, impermanence. What is impermanence? Impermanence means it's difficult to be confident, because everything that we try to obtain happiness from, or we rely on for happiness, for security, is going to change. It's unreliable. So when it's unreliable, how no one in their right minds would depend on it, right? So what is unreliable? Every single thing. Every single thing that we can find in this world is unreliable, because they're all conditioned. They're all dependent on something else And at every single moment they change, or they don't stay the same for too long. Even our thoughts, our emotions, we are constantly changing as a person. So what else changes? Our bodies. So people who understand this, they look at normal people, regular people like us, who really take care of our bodies. Like people come to the monastery and they're always asking us to keep ourselves healthy, to take supplements, because sometimes a monk's diet, you can't really choose what to eat. You depend on the generosity of donors. So people tend to give us supplements. They want us to be healthy. The general feeling is that take care of your body and your body will take care of you. But someone who knows impermanence, they see it similar to, say, if you have to drive to somewhere and you have a car which is totally unreliable. You have a car that you open the door, you close the door, but when you move, the door opens by itself, you know, and you can fall out. Because why? The seatbelt doesn't work either. The steering wheel, you know, as you're turning right, the steering wheel comes off in your hands and the car drives by itself. Brakes that may not work. I know what it feels like to drive a car with brakes that don't work. So how can you feel happy or confident in the car? Would you invest a lot of time and effort in the car, dress it up really nice, wash it every day, shine the tires, when all it is just a death trap that's going to betray you after a while? You probably won't. So that's what impermanence means. Yeah. So as we go through this, okay, what am I leading to? I think the last class someone wanted to know about how bodhisattvas are able to do extreme forms of giving. I want to say extreme, great giving. For example, we had the story of the painted rabbit in the moon. So bodhisattvas and great giving. How are bodhisattvas able to do that? I was reading more from Nagarjuna, and he said that usually bodhisattvas who can give this form of great giving, those are transformation body bodhisattvas. That means they have already achieved, they already have obtained the Dharma body, and what have they left behind? They have left behind the fettered body, or the usual regular body. So bodhisattvas at that stage, I think they're 8th stage and above. I'm not sure, don't quote me on that. Able to do a lot of great giving. So there are countless stories like the rabbit on the moon, where the bodhisattva, usually the Buddha in a past life, is able to do that. So how can they do that? Well, they see the body as being impermanent. They're going to lose the body anyway. The body is like an illusion. So because they see the body as already going to go bad, why not give it away? And it makes sense for them because they know that by doing this kind of giving, the rewards that they're going to get are going to be really great. So it makes perfect sense. It's really, really logical. It doesn't make sense to us because we are so attached to our body, and the attachment clouds our judgment. And also because in terms of our wisdom and the fact that we have attachments, we are not at that level yet, but we can try. We don't have to give away our body. We can give away things that are important to us. So for a bodhisattva at that level, I guess to them, I was having a conversation. We have some people working on our sidewalk today. I was having a conversation with them. I think it's kind of like an avocado or banana. You know, banana, there is a point where it's at its peak ripeness, where there's the skin becomes kind of blackish. You have black spots on the skin, and people who have eaten bananas from tropical countries, you know what I'm talking about. In America, a lot of the bananas that you buy are really green, whereas in Malaysia, you can buy bananas that the banana seller will tell you when you want to eat them, today or tomorrow. And they can actually give you a banana that is going to ripen. They know the banana is going to ripen tomorrow, but not today. So don't eat it today. This will be ready tomorrow. But if you want to eat today, you can choose from here. Yeah. So imagine you have a banana that's really, really ripe, like at the peak of its ripeness, and you know tomorrow is going to spoil. But you're too full. You can't eat the banana anymore. And you know that if you give the banana away, your blessings or your rewards that you get from that act of giving that banana away will be really, really great. It's a no-brainer to give it away. In fact, you will look for someone to give it away. Right? Wouldn't you? Why? If not, it will go to waste. That's kind of how, in my mind, I try to come to terms with it. Okay, so I have a story right now about someone who, not a bodhisattva, but someone who is able to do great giving. Okay, this story was recorded or was told by Nagarjuna Bodhisattva in his treatise on the six perfections. The six perfections is a shastra about how bodhisattvas are able to perfect the six paramitas. And in the section on dana paramita or generosity and giving, he gives this story. Okay, let me see what's the next slide. Okay, all right. I think I should read this before I tell the story. So this is taken from the Shastra of the Six Perfections. And Nagarjuna writes, he says, as one turns about in the wheel of birth and death, going and coming in the five destinies, there are no relatives upon whom one can rely. There is only giving. Whether one is born in the heavens or among men, whenever one gains a pure result, it comes forth as a result of giving. Okay, this is a new slide. It says, when one brings to mind giving, he experiences delight. Okay, he's talking about bodhisattvas right now. Okay, but he could just as well be describing any of us who would like to practice generosity. It says, on account of delight, he develops unity of mind. Oh, no, actually he's talking about regular people like us. Sorry. So on account of delight, he develops unity of mind. With unity of mind, he contemplates birth and death and impermanence. Things that we have just been discussing. Because he contemplates birth, death, and impermanence, he is able to realize the path. So how it works is, you give, you get really happy because you are able to give and support other people, and because of your happiness, your mind becomes calm and you can get concentrated. This is why in the Theravada tradition, they always talk to lay people about generosity. Traditionally in the Theravada tradition, they don't really talk about, they don't have fahues, you know, they don't have like a lot of meditation sessions. They usually talk about generosity. And then what does Nagarjuna say next? He says that in ways such as this and all sorts of physical bodies, one gives even one's own wives and sons, and yet does not stint at all, treating it as if it were only setting aside grass or trees. Okay, here when it says wives and sons, it means things that are really precious to you. Okay, you can take it literally if you want, but it means things that are really, really hard to give away. Okay, all right, and then he also says, one contemplates those things which are given and realizes that they exist merely on the basis of conditions. I have to apologize for my pronunciation today. The tip of my tongue, I can't see anything, but I think there's an ulcer there, so it hurts when I speak. When one pursues this and seeks to find their reality, it can never be found. Everything is characterized by being pure and like nirvana. And so this proceeds until one realizes the unproduced Dharma's patience. So basically what he's trying to say is that if you really examine the thing that you're giving away, because it's conditioned, it's compounded, it's made of different things coming together, those things are not permanent, and what you call a cup, what you call a car, what you call your body, what you call everything that you have a name for, doesn't really exist in that form. It's only our minds that attach to that perception. So because they see through things, you how you say, I just thought of something. I'm trying to think of an example. Once you see how it's done or how it's made, the mystery goes away, and then you're not attached to it anymore, right? So he says that then you can give it away. Okay, so what is this story that I want to tell? Okay, it's about a painter. Okay, and what is this? What does this painter do? Okay, this painter spent 12 years in a different country, in a different state, doing painting duties for the royal family. 12 whole years. He was away from his family for 12 years. And for that, he was paid I think it was 33 ounces of gold. So when his project was finished after 12 years, he finally got to go home. So it's like a very big thing. So on his way home, he heard drums being beaten, and he found out that there was a gathering of Sangha members, of monks, and on the spot he had an he had an idea, inspiration, and he asked the in the text it says a kamavachana, someone who arranges things on behalf of the monks, the put things together. So he asked the person, he said, how much would it cost if I wanted to buy the whole Sangha a meal? And the reply was exactly 33 ounces of gold, which is all the money he had from 12 years of hard work away from his family. And without hesitation, he said, okay, here's the money. Can you please prepare a feast for the monks for tomorrow, and I'll come back. So he, on the spot, he gave the money to the person handling the things, and he walked back really, really happy. When he got home, he was greeted by his wife. And the wife, I imagine the wife to be having her her hands on her hips, looking at the husband who has just come back after 12 years. Why do I imagine that? Because it is said that the first thing she asked him was, well, what do you have to show after 12 years? Where's your salary? And he said, oh, I have nothing because I gave it all away to pay for a meal for all the monks tomorrow. When the wife heard this, she was so mad. I mean, you know, anyone who's normal, I guess, would be really mad. At least, you know, even if she would have agreed, at least you want to consult your partner before you make any major decision like that. So what she did was she took him in front of the judge, and I think she bound him up. She tied him up, took him in front of the judge and complained to the judge. He said, I want justice because my fool of a husband gave away all his earnings after 12 years, leaving his family penniless again. So the judge was, very intrigued. And the judge asked the painter, why would you do such a thing? And this was the painter's reply. The painter said, in previous lives I did not cultivate merit, so in this present life I'm poor and undergone all manner of bitter suffering. What kind of suffering? Well, 12 years away from your family just to support them. So he said, now in this life I've encountered the field of merit. If I do not plant merit, in later lives I will still be poor, and so poverty will follow upon poverty continuously, such that there will be no time when I'm able to escape it. I now wish to immediately relinquish this state of poverty. It is for this reason that I took all the gold and gave it to the assembly of Sanghans. So what is he doing? He is looking forward. He is making an investment in his future, or basically, how do you say it? He's guaranteeing, he's assuring a prosperous future. He has faith in cause and effect. So that faith has enabled him to make a investment that he knows will pay off. And that makes a lot of sense, because I know a lot of people who have regrets for not making certain investments. Like I know when I was younger, my grandmother on my mother's side and my uncle, they had this house that they purchased. My uncle purchased this house on a hill that was only, I think in the 70s or 80s when he purchased it, was something like maybe 40,000 ringgit at that time. And when my dad expressed his regret for not purchasing a house, one of the neighbors' houses, at that time the house was worth, I think, maybe like 2 million ringgit. And this was in maybe the early 2000. So people always wish that, if only I had invested, or if only I had bought the stock or something. Or probably that's why you buy insurance, so that if anything happens, you are safe. So this painter, because of his faith in the Dharma, the Buddha, and in understanding cause and effect, made a really, really wise decision. And it just so happened, by luck, that the judge that he was brought in front to was a ardent disciple of the Buddha. So the judge said, you did something that's actually extremely difficult, and you went through all this suffering just to get a small material reward. I'm not sure how much 33 ounces of gold is, but at that time it's regarded as not a lot. And so the judge said, you worked 12 whole years just for this small fortune, and you're able to give it all away. So the judge said, you're actually a really, really good man. So what the judge did was, he was wearing a string of pearls that I guess was worth quite a lot of money. He immediately took off his pearls, he gave it to the man, and he also gave his man his horse, which is your car, he gave him his car. And because he was a judge, he receives an income based on taxes of the entire village, and he gave all of that to this man. So the man instantly became well off. And then the judge, who also knew cause and effect, told the painter, he said, at the beginning, when you had made the gift to an assembly of the Sangha, it was a case of the seed still not having really been planted. but now a sprout has already come forth from it. So a sprout, like a small seedling from the seed, what was the sprout he was referring to? His gesture of generosity to this painter. So that was the sprout. And then he said, the great fruit of this will come forth in the next life. So meaning that the actual cause and effect of giving away the 33 ounces, this person in the next life, he will have a lot of blessings. Yeah. Isn't that a great story? Okay, let me see the chat box. Does a monk or a nun has attachment? Please advise. From movies I have seen, they say they have no attachment. I don't know about other monks and nuns or what movies you have watched. Monks and nuns are just regular people. So, yeah, monks and nuns are just regular people. Okay, so what's next? All right, the 9 great vow. Okay, we only have a few more minutes for today's session, and the 9 great vow actually is very interesting, and probably needs more time than just 10 minutes. So maybe now is a good time for me to ask again. Anyone has any remarks they want to share? Any questions? Okay, someone's mic is unmuted. Does that mean there's something coming? Sue, your mic is unmuted. Anyone else? Yes, Tammy.
Dharma Master, can you hear me?
Yes, very well.
Oh, I'm wonderful. About the 8th vow, I'm not a fan, but then
Okay.
but then I don't understand so much, so I don't want to make a definite comment. But I'd like to ask you, would you elaborate? Because I tried to read the commentary, and I found it a little bit conflicting.
Okay.
So it's I will try to go back to the text here. It says that if there are women who wish to renounce their body because they are oppressed, then it says that on the page 80, oppressed. If they are desperate and want to renounce, upon hearing the Buddha's name, then they will become just like men. Can you elaborate on that? I found it.
Okay. First of all, I think everyone here is really blessed. So we are living in a place and in a culture and society where things are really good for everyone. You know, we enjoy abundant blessings, and life isn't really that difficult. We have the opportunity to plant really good blessings and be able to practice. But if you look at the world in general, there are many places that even now, almost on a weekly basis, there are reports where, say if you are a woman, you don't have many rights. Where if you go out with, where your own family can actually kill you because you see the wrong guy, or you are like just last week or this week, there's the story about what they call it's an exchange where two families agree that they exchange the daughters. and one family rejected, did not honor the agreement, and as a result, their daughter, who was given to the other family, was killed out of revenge. So you don't have to go very far to see that even at present times, I mean in the past of course, but even at present times right now, that just because you are born female, you are seen, your life is less important than, say, fame or honor to the family. So I guess this Medicine Master Buddha does not forget people like that, people who are oppressed. And also, if you look at it, I guess he doesn't say it, but if you're a man and you want to be a woman, this is the same vow. There are a lot of people born as men right now, but because of their causes and conditions, they prefer to be women. So when they read this vow, I hope they understand that that Medicine Master Buddha includes them too, although it is not said, but it's implicit. So it's not just only for women, also for men. And these people are, on a daily basis, they undergo a lot of afflictions. Because not just internal within themselves, which is dukkha, but external too. So right now in America, you have, as Black Lives Matter, people are also using the opportunity to highlight that if you are black and trans, that means you male body, but you in your mind you see yourself as a female, they are oppressed as well. So look at this vow not so much in the specifics, although the specifics do highlight a very real situation. Look at it broader. Anyone who is oppressed for being who they are, for being born the way they are. That means people don't see you for, how you say, what they see stops at at surface level. It doesn't extend into the emotions, it doesn't extend into the person's wishes to be happy, to be accepted as an equal. It doesn't extend to the heart, to the mind. It only stops at how they look. So this vow is for all those people. And be very, very thankful that if you don't connect to this vow, be very, very grateful that you don't have to. I'm very grateful that, you know, a lot of the vows don't have to, how you say, do not describe someone like me. People who are really undergoing affliction and suffering. Yeah, does that help, Tammy?
I think I'm gonna. I need to read more.
Okay.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah,
I was hoping to, maybe because with what's going on, and because of the wordings of the sutra text and the commentary so short, it doesn't. Maybe I was looking for something that, you know, I don't have to change or wish or envy the man. I have nothing against the man. I mean, you know, something. I'm not sure. I guess I'm still a baby in Buddhism. So, yeah.
Okay, this vow doesn't say you have to envy men. It's speaking to a very specific group of people. Yeah. And like I said, if you do not identify with this vow, personally, be really grateful that you don't have to, but look at it from the compassion side.
Yeah, I'm trying to look at it from the compassion side, because it's the oppressions is a big deal, is from the beginning of time, I think. So, and when the Bodhisattva, I'm sure, I have no doubt, he's full of compassion and then, beautiful intent. I don't question that. I just want to understand a bit more. Maybe there's something in between the line that I didn't get. So that's why I need more elaborations, because I believe this is not necessarily physical aspect. When it say they will become just like men, it can be mentally. But the explanation a little bit too short for me. That is because I don't understand much, because I'm new. So I'm not criticizing the text. So that's why I just want to understand more.
Yeah,
So
I think in the future we might be able to, because I don't read Chinese, I don't have access to the Chinese text. Maybe in the future we can come up with a better translation that takes away that lessens doubt. Yeah, hopefully. Yeah, or someone other than myself is able to explain a lot better.
Wonderful. I
So
appreciate your helping. It seems like I'm sorry. It seems like Su Wong's are not able is not able to unmute her mic.
Yeah, she's been having this problem for a while. Okay, let me ask.
Amitabha, thank you, Dan Master.
Okay, since we're on this topic, let me look at the chat box. Carrie says, I met a male, want to be a female. It is difficult for the person to get jobs. And then, okay, so Sue has a question. Do they become men this life or next lifetime? I think probably next. Probably next, unless now there are medical ways. Yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah, so Sue's question is, do they become men this lifetime or next lifetime? Usually, I think next. Yeah, but this life too, you can. I mean, medically. So let me ask everyone, how is this new format with the PowerPoint or the slides to guide us along? Does that work better for people?
Yes, Pastor, it's better because usually you type your notes, which we don't see afterwards. So now when we are looking through, it's better. We can see it.
Okay. Wait. Okay. Lai Chan, are you?
Yes.
How you say? Yuan Lin's mother?
Oh no.
Oh, okay. All right. Sorry. Sound the same. Okay, I think we'll stick to this format. I need more time to do the PowerPoint thing, but I think I prefer it too as well. Okay.
Pastor, while we are on the subject, yeah,
Yes.
I've heard it said that to be a Buddha, first you have to be human, and then you have to be a male. Is that true?
Okay, from our okay, it's true, but we humans tend to be really attached to gender and make a big deal out of it. Why? Because we are really confused. So because we identify with our body, and remember we just talked about bodhisattvas doing great giving, who can give away their body because they see the body as an illusion. So whereas us, because we're really confused, gender becomes a really big thing. So it is true that in the text they say that you have to be human and then man. You have to be a human man to become the Buddha. Okay, this was actually brought up in, I think it's the Vimalakirti Sutra. Vimalakirti Sutra is one of my favorite sutras, although I haven't read it in a few years. I think I should go read it again. I'm not sure, but I think it's in the Vimalakirti Sutra, where Shariputra actually has this concern. And the dragon girl, I believe, on the spot. So Shariputra had this issue about gender, and the dragon girl on the spot transformed Shariputra into a female. That's one instance to do with gender. And in the second instance, about this being human, male, and then the Buddha, the dragon girl instantly became a human man and then became the Buddha right there and then. And I think the whole point of that exchange was to show, was to how you say, was to highlight our own prejudices and attachments and lack of understanding when it comes to matters like that. Whereas once you reach a certain level in your practice, you realize that it doesn't make any difference. Gender is just from duality. In the Pure Land, everyone's single gender. You know, so when your mind is pure, all these things that people fight over and love over and all these things that causes samsaric existence becomes really, really inconsistent. A small thing is there's nothing there at all. Yeah. So yes, to your question, yes, it is true. That's what they say. I think it is quoted in the sutras, but it doesn't mean what you think it means. The implications are different from what we take it to be. Does that make sense?
Okay, Faso, because I also know that we are always told that we shouldn't have a 分别心. I mean, you don't differentiate. Thank you. Amitabha.
Okay. Yeah. So the differences are not like what we make it up. The implications of that, what like China has just asked, isn't what we make it out to be. Because at that level, it doesn't make any difference at all. Okay? All right. So let me, how do I, okay, get out of that. And we can do dedication of merit. Okay. May every living being, our minds as one and radiant with light, share the fruits of peace with hearts of goodness, luminous and bright. If people hear and see how hands and hearts can find in giving unity, may their minds awake to great compassion, wisdom, and to joy. May kindness find reward. May all who sorrow leave their grief and pain. May this boundless light dispel the darkness of their endless night. Because our hearts are one, this world of pain turns into paradise. May all become compassionate and wise. May all become compassionate and wise. Okay, everyone, we'll see you next week. And please come with at least one question. Yeah, we had a few questions today. Pretty good. All right, come with more next week. Okay, bye-bye. Amitabha.